All right, Ron.
Okay. Again, a call to order of the Grayson County Economic Development Authority. See, we have a quorum, calling roll.
Only one I have absent is Jason and then possibly
Jason.
Oh. I'm sorry.
He's got feelings, doesn't he?
Jason, I don't know why I did that. Sorry, man.
That's all right. He's so little you can't see.
Yeah, there you go.
He's hid behind that
I don't know why I did that.
microphone.
So Timmy's the only one I have at,
And he's absent, and Darren's online.
Darren's online, remote counted.
Okay. All right, if you have a chance to look over the minutes, I'll look for motion to approve. May minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Here a second.
Second.
All in favor, aye. So, again, in the financial report, if you look over it, if there's any questions, or if not, look for a motion to approve financial report.
You want Nikki to go over anything? Sure. Are you good?
The big thing that came in this month was a reimbursement for the Commonwealth Opportunity Fund, what used to be known as the Governor's Opportunity Fund for some of you old schoolers. That was an incentive for RPM. So it basically came in the door in May and went right back out in June. We did have the remainder of the feasibility study that went out to the Virginia Agriculture Foundation for $9,000, which left us with a balance as of June 13th of $560,634.04. We did also have some additional payments in the farm relief category. So if you go to line 31 in the agriculture support, we have now spent, of the $200,000, excuse me, we spent $122,015.54, leaving the remaining savings of $77,984.46, which I believe we'll be discussing later on in the agenda.
Okay. Any questions? Comments? I'll look for a motion to approve financial report.
So moved.
Here a second.
Second.
All in favor, aye. And also, okay, old business, ARS. Darren, if you're listening, I checked on the three that you gave me. I can't find a phone number for the haunted houses, you know. I got the, an address, but I couldn't find a phone number. The other ones, I did go look at, they're big houses, great big houses. One of them is very short right away, trying to go around the corner of one house to get the other. Talked to Mr. Hash, he said I may have something else you might use, so he ain't got back with me yet on it. Anybody else have anything, another house that they got? Maybe interested?
There's one, I thought I was gonna be going back to Marion before, but it's in Troutdale. It's changed hands several times, and I noticed the other day the grass is like this high. It's a smaller white house. I'll try to get the GIS and have that for next month, because I know it's changed hands. A teacher owned it at one time and was driving, but no one's lived in it for a good year now. So, and I just noticed that the grass, so it's not this, it's in Grayson County, but not too far after you come past the Smith-Grayson line.
These three houses that we looked at are awful big houses. I don't know if that would fit into a first-time home buyer, that big of a house, but maybe. But Mr. Hayes is supposed to get back with me on those two and maybe one more, and he hasn't yet, so. It's, I guess he's the heir, maybe. That's whose names they're in anyway. Anything else on ARS? Okay, next, old business, Grazing Ground LLC.
I reached back out to, Grazing Ground, kind of briefed them on what the thoughts of the board were in regards to, loan versus grant, and, they said they would consider that and have not gotten back to me since. Kind of laid out what I thought the board's decision was and desire is. So, now heard back from you.
Okay, next, tax relief on leftover funds for the state. Anything on that, Lisa?
The only thing that the committee had said, if there were leftover funds, was just to give it back to the EDA, and then you guys will put it back in the compost or do what you choose to do. Back in the same.
There was 5 that needed to pay the taxes, up to all 5 come through.
I think 2 did.
I know one did, did another one.
I thought there was 2. But I can't remember. We can look.
Is this counting them in or out?
That is counting them in if they were paid and the amount spent, but it would be in the savings if they get paid, like in the encumbered amount, basically.
The 3 or 4 that didn't pay yet, are still gonna be in your encumbered, right?
I don't, we can
Because they
leave,
didn't
I
get
can
checked.
find out and identify what those are and leave them in there, and then unencumber the rest.
And maybe you all wanna consider a deadline, I mean, I don't know, for them to pay if they want to receive the funds.
I talked to all 5, and all 5 said, well, I'll do it by next week.
I know one of them was, I can't remember, there were 2 or not.
Were they from the second round or? I mean,
Second
all
round.
from the second round?
All the ones from the first round paid, okay,
When did we do the second round? Was that April?
yes.
I think you got paid in May.
Got paid in May, the applications were due
In
the
April.
30th of April.
We want to set a deadline.
November 6 months, that might be too far.
What did you say?
That's November 6 months, if you keep the limit, that might be too long.
How much, do you know what the number is outstanding?
I don't, because
Kim,
are they included on your report that you gave to Sheila?
Yes. They are on that spreadsheet.
I guess, I really don't know.
Yeah, it's okay.
I can go
I don't
find
think
out.
it's that big deal.
I have it on my computer.
It's not a huge amount of money. I think the decision points here, sounds like to me, are, do you want to unencumber that money back into the EDA pot, and have Nikki hold out that specific amount that potentially could go to these 5 or 6 people based on if they pay their taxes? Or are you thinking about doing something else with the $127,000? That's really kind of the
Like
same.
a 77.
So,
Sorry. What? How much?
What Tuesday now?
Unencumbered would be 77,
77, I'm sorry.
right? We spent 121.
121, 77, I'm sorry.
So that would just go back to the general fund,
No, to the EDA.
or the EDA fund.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just basically money you could do something else with.
Yeah.
Choose to do.
I feel like that needs to happen, and then maybe give a deadline of, if you did the end of August, that'd be 120 days.
Sounds like a motion.
that's what I was wanting to. Motion.
I can make that motion, listen, I thought we were discussing.
Restate the motion.
It sounded like making a motion.
I make a motion to move the, savings from the, agriculture support fund that is, unencumbered back to the EDA general fund, or EDA fund. And give a, notice to those with delinquent taxes until the end of August before that money is returned.
It's a good motion.
The end of August, so.
I say the end of
You
August.
have all 5 of them. You have all 5, we can email directly out.
yeah, I have it
Some of them get paid though, it's not 5, I think it's only 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
Until August 31st.
I second.
First and second, all in favor, aye? Right. Darren, you still with us?
Betsy, you made that second, right?
Looks like he left.
You lose Darren.
Yeah, it looks like we probably lost him.
Let's see, you do more audio.
and it looks like there's probably not gonna be any more than $4,000 or $5,000.
Or I could try to call him from here, just like I did
It
with
could be less
Timmy.
than that, cause 1 or 2 of these have
And
paid,
it's gonna be problems.
that would be owed.
All that.
Was it for you? That's what Christian
I just closed out.
Oh,
Still recording.
you're on speaker.
Okay, yeah, I got dropped off the other one.
Okay.
So, you wanna ask him, or you wanna just keep that 5-0 vote? Just not include it.
Yeah, it'd be fine, we got majority.
Okay.
Okay.
Be about 3,000 that we would, if they all pay, like, or less, cause I all paid.
You said we're down like maybe just act like in 3,000, all of them paying.
Yeah, I know the one at the top here did pay, I don't know who else did, that's where we're caught up with, whoever the second one was. So
Right.
it shouldn't be more than 3,000, that would be,
Okay, well, maybe they will come up with that.
or no, that's not what they owe, that's just what the EDA would be paying out if they paid their taxes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Because there's
Sorry.
quite a bit more.
that make, yes, no, they owe quite a bit. But what the EDA would pay out if they paid their delinquent taxes would probably be no more than $3,000.
Now, are we going to email or?
I think that's what
call these
Steve was
people back.
asking,
We'll try and get in contact with them
yeah,
Okay.
send
and
out
give them
a-
the deadline.
I spoke to every one of them on the phone, they all assumed that they'd get it next week, but that was a month ago.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, new business, Baywood School update.
Tomorrow, Avila Residential, we're headed to Whitfield with George Stidham, to try to set up a partnership to set up the grant writing process to hopefully acquire, grants to help with the funding of Baywood School, the reconstruction of Baywood School. Imagine it'll take a few months to get our head wrapped around, timelines on grants, what that looks like, and then we can go forward with, further discussion on, price for the school, what that looks like, performance measures, things such as that nature. So that's the update I have right now.
Okay. Any questions, Baywood School?
Go ahead.
The, police academy side of things, any updates there, is it just starting?
Good question. They sent an email on Monday saying after review of their financial situation, they're unable to, they would not have the funds available to conduct construction of the school and utilize that facility, so they backed out.
Gotcha.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, Rooftop.
Rooftop, we met with Rooftop, Mike Burnett, and I met with Rooftop. I'm thinking 2 weeks ago, we informed them of EDA and Board of Supervisors' decisions to try to move forward with site control. So really the ball's in their court now in regards to our proposal for price, performance measures, timelines, et cetera, to see what they can do. That was 3 weeks ago. I've heard nothing back from Rooftop yet. I think it'll take them a little time to get their brains wrapped around the scale and size of that project and, get some of the staff work done on it, which is the same thing, grant writing for them. So, that's it.
Questions on Rooftop? Okay, next, Twin County Airport.
during the last board supervisor meeting, or in our last meeting, you asked, there was some discussion on whether the EDA would be used to fund shortfalls at the airport. The airport's looking for new hangars and, runway extension. I asked the board of supervisors directly if it was their intention for the EDA to fund that. They said no, they were not, it's not something they intended to do, and so that's as good as I can get you right there. Doesn't mean, you always have the, you operate independently, so you have the, if there's something that you're aware of that you wish to take on, you certainly can, but they said it wasn't their intention.
Oh, it was their intention.
Yeah, they said no. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong? Okay. Okay.
So that 20,000 start list is not issued to last year.
You issued them,
19,960 for the debt service payment that the board is committed to. That's what's in the budget again this year. What is not in the budget this year, you got cut was 36.6
for operational.
for the operational expenses at the airport.
I talked to the director last night, and they had rebid some of their costs and come down like $150,000. So they were not as bad a shape as they thought.
Is this for extra hangers? Are you talking about
Hangers and just everyday
expenses?
expenses. They rebid the hangers, I guess is what they did. They come up with another firm that was gonna do 150, 200 less. So they was tickled that maybe they didn't have to ask for no extra things. You asked about who used the airport, I know RPM, the owner now is from Canada, he uses the airport. I know during the power company days, I flew out there a few times on customer outages and also the tree trimming comes out of there. So Grayson County does get some benefit from the airport being this place. They use it instead of
We have somebody, like, mobile, that, for a special service, at our church, all before we give his wife, went in there, come to our church, go back, go back.
What's
For
the
church
difference
service.
between them using the Mountain Empire Airport versus, it's the same distance, we established that. So is there more of a charge for it, or is there a reason why someone would want to use the airport over in Hillsborough versus the one in Rural Retreat?
I don't know anything about the charges part. That's very, I mean, the airport Woodlawn is, I think is a whole lot nicer than out in there. We have used the conference room on, even Meadowcreek, we use that as a place to go and board supervisors talk and supply the rooms for it. As far as the feed or land there, take off our hunting like that. That.
I don't think you got charged anything, but, I just happened, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. This airport is a regional thing between Carroll, Grayson, and City of Gaylords. Just like the landfill, just like the jail, it was all a regional airport. So that's why that's used as a anything else, questions on it? Okay. Roundhouse.
Roundhouse, so Brandon, what property we're talking about on the roundhouse? We're talking about the roundhouse?
I know the property, but I don't know what the EDA, that was before my time, I don't know our relationship with them,
Yeah.
what we did.
Talk about our relationship with that, how that came about, or do you remember?
Basically, the roundhouse needed to be, this guy wanted to buy it, but he needed to buy it through the EDA. There's reverses a private sale, so the guy donated it to the EDA or basically it sold it for $1.
$1.
$1
That's right.
to the EDA, and then the EDA, worked with
that's something different than that. Okay.
No,
Were,
I
were
got
there
the
any
same
tax
basic knowledge.
incentives given with that, Mitch? Did they
No.
receiving, the sellers
Not to
didn't?
my knowledge,
Okay.
EDA still owns the property at this point.
yeah.
So,
So they're not taxed.
But I mean, the people that sold it to
oh,
the EDA, did they benefit from any tax benefits from this transaction? What was their motivation to do it, I guess is my question, besides just altruism?
well, it's a good question. I don't know if I have that answer.
I
but
don't,
yeah.
I don't.
There was, I don't know how you get it, unless it was just a straight write-off for them somehow. But I have not found any paperwork that, you know, that they got a write-off or something like
The
that.
guy that got it he was the one motivated, wanted it and all, and so they worked out the deal where they thought it was gonna turn out to be a good thing and get refurbished and remodeled and all that. So that's why there was an incentive to do that, and he was motivated to buy, or to make that happen.
When you say they thought it was gonna be refurbished, you mean the EDA at the time or the
Well,
seller?
that's what they were, the one that gave it and the EDA, this guy had said that he wanted to get it and remodel and make it nice again.
Historically
Yeah,
significant.
yeah, and then it just never has happened. I don't know the story from our, Steve probably knows more from ours than I do.
So when I got here, I was just reviewing, current agreements, and that agreement was getting ready to expire. I can't remember the guy's name, Mark something, or Brian. He wanted to renew the agreement. EDA decided to renew the agreement for 2 years. Performance agreement, basically that he's gonna do the A, B, C, D, and E. He's done zero work on the property, and it's expired. And I received a call from, Dale Folwell, Folwell. You can, look him up online. He's, had some political aspirations. He was a politician in North Carolina. He's asked if the board will consider allowing him to take on that property. I know it got flooded in Helene. I don't know the downside at this point of if the board wants to allow him to do something with it. I spoke with him last week. He was in the middle of something, and he said he'd call me back. Then call me back. I'll call him again this week. But I don't, you know, I don't think the EDA has plans to do something with that property. So if you want me to continue to look for someone to develop that property as a historical site, something that the county wants to be proud of, I can do that.
What is our investment in the property? It's zero. It was total donation.
$1.
$1. So, and has the person that was supposed to be fixing up, have they been paying property taxes on it, or there's just been no property taxes paid on it because the EDA owns it? Is that the
Yeah.
case?
I don't know if there's a big property tax put on it. I'd have to go back and,
I'd be
because
surprised.
it's still under the EDA's ownership. And so I think that the purpose of the agreement was to see if he was going to invest in that. And he never
Okay,
did.
Steve, you raised a question.
Yeah.
The 2 years, I remember that it running out.
Yeah.
2-year extension.
Yeah.
Does that obligate us to Bryant for 2 more years? Or
It's
can-
expired. When I first got here, so I've been here over 2
So
years.
we didn't do the extension.
No, he's had 4 years.
Okay.
He's had 4 years total to do that.
Okay.
Sorry if I didn't articulate that correctly.
Steve, does this new gentleman want the same sort of arrangement that we had?
Isn't said.
Buy it,
Yeah,
or
he
buy
doesn't
it
say.
outright from us, or?
I think that's, I mean, it's really up to the board what they wanna do. He's just got some ties to that end of the county. And he has, let's see, he has family ties, his wife has property there, his daughter just got married up there. And so they have they wanna make some investment on that side of the county. And so he's willing to, he said, he walked through it, I'm willing to try to take this on if the county would like me to do that.
But he hasn't made a proposal as to what arrangement he wants, okay.
Zero. It's, for me, I need to know, I guess the only thing I need to know from the board, is there a desire for us to continue to try to push something like that, to try to get it restored, or is it just to try to sell that piece, or how are you thinking about that particular piece of property, really, John?
his guy takes it on, fixes it up, historical site, then what? Is it a Airbnb, is it just there, or?
What I don't know now is since it just got flooded from Helene, if you can even do anything at this point. I'll talk to Jada on that.
I've been in the roundhouse recently, and it is very rough condition. Basically they had gutted it. There's very little that can be done with that except for maybe use some of the cool timber and beams that are in there and recreate it using some of the older materials. The house is not salvageable by any stretch of the imagination.
And I
Let me
think
just
that's
say
what
that.
he said from the get-go.
It's just not,
Generally,
yeah, it's not salvageable.
That's why he never did anything.
You know, it would be really cool if somebody just replicated what was there, maybe using some older components, but there's no way anybody's gonna fix it.
It's pretty rotten.
It's gone.
So it's, I think we would be better off selling it to him and the county getting the tax value that he's gonna be paying taxes on it than,
So then we'll just talk about selling this land.
yeah.
I don't know that. Certainly can make that proposal to him that, you know, we'd be willing to sell a piece of land there.
Well, if he's gonna get back with you, get back with him, then maybe
Yep.
table it to next month, yes, see what's going on.
That'll be it.
Good. Anything else? Your house. Okay, Wyatt's small engine.
So I met with Garrett Wyatt. John, you know Garrett. Garrett Wyatt out of Brandon, of 21. Okay.
I know who he is.
You know the business there.
Yeah, I know the business you're referring to.
Does everybody know? Anybody not know?
I haven't talked to him, he said
You did. So, I just stopped in to see how he was doing, what's going on, how business was going. He had about 4 or 5 weeks worth of work in front of him. He's renting a facility there, and he would like to be a authorized steel dealership, authorized steel mechanic. And so he's been going to banks to try to get loans. He's a new business owner, 6 months in, so he's unable to get loans at this point in time. I asked him how much he was looking for. He said it's going to take about $35,000. I asked him if he could approach the town, if he talked to anybody on the EDA. He said no. And so he's interested in a loan from the EDA. I'm not sure if the EDA has an interest in loaning to a young man, small business, who's trying to create a authorized steel dealership here. And so we can formalize the proposal if the board's interested. He said about $35,000. If we loan out as we have, or 4 or 5 years at a low interest rate. If the board's interested in pursuing it. That's it.
I've had several people call and recommend we do something because this is a good kid, just starting out, Grayson County guy, and the steel dealership and independence of Grayson County would be win-win, I think, for most people. There's nothing, I mean, Galec's probably closest steel dealership.
Have we got one? I thought we were minor.
Yeah, they're close.
Yeah,
Store machine shop, yes.
They're asking y'all to speak up a little bit.
yeah, Star Machine Shop is, and Ace Hardware is. So,
We'll still allow him to be that.
I think he's done been talking to him. You would think it Ace.
Territorial issues there, I know.
Yeah, but you'd think Ace Hardware and Star Machine Shop within rock door distance would be
Yeah.
The Star, is it out in Green, is that where it is?
No, it's in,
Oh, it's, yeah,
across from Rex Theater.
that's right, okay.
And he's asking for a loan.
Long,
Yeah.
And I'd heard about this too, and had people calling me, and I've done a pro and con. It's, you know, a Grayson graduate, a Marine, you know, and a lot of the lawn care people around here said they would, you know, they use steel, I guess, how great it would be to, and everything, all the pros are good. The only con I had was, does it meet, if we had boxes, you know, the employment, you know, with the EDA, that's where I'm like, I wish we had boxes to check to say this meets,
Job creation.
yeah, you know, cause it's like, again, are we saying, and I just know him through the rec park where he's, you know, done stuff up there, it's like, do you just loan out cause, hey, he's a good kid, a Grayson County graduate, and we wanna see him do well, does that meet the boxes to say,
The box you're trying to meet, I think, is, do we have a legitimate need in the county? And will this investment help grow a small business? I think that's probably where you're headed, right? It's interesting, the EDA, I keep saying, I'm not sure that one size will always fit all. And sometimes you invest in ideas, and sometimes you invest in individuals with ideas. So, in the perfect marriage is both, right? And so it's gonna be hard. So there's no. What's interesting, I used to always think everything has to, if A, B, C,
Right.
and D works, okay, let's go. I'm not sure that you wanna hem yourself in like that all the time. Because there may be things that come up, you go, man, this is risky for the county at 50 grand, but we're willing to take this risk at 50 grand. But it's your call. I'm agnostic to all these. I always just talk about them, and wherever you decide, you decide.
One thing I like, he didn't ask for grant money, he asked for a loan.
The loan is, that's a positive
Yeah.
aspect of it. What sort of collateral would he have if he's buying a dealership? This is just not something that would be tangible to.
What he's buying, what I understand he's buying is training. So they're gonna train him to a certain standard on steel equipment, so he can use their signs, authorized stuff, and then he's buying equipment to put into a storefront. And so you go
He
ahead.
has got a new employee coming next week,
Yeah.
so he's gonna hire one, and
He did
as
this,
tough as he had, he needs 2 or 3.
yeah, he did tell me, he said if I could keep labor, he says, I can't keep somebody just to get somebody just to show up on a daily basis. So I'm having to do everything right now, so.
One thing I'll point out to you is that you'll probably be a SWAM dealer registered with the state of Virginia. We have 2 state parks in Grayson County that are going outside of the county to do a lot of business. So.
Not only that, you got town, you've got all your EMS, fire, we, I don't know how everybody else, Freeze uses steel equipment, so.
It's the best.
and that's kind of the thing is, it's like, even giving him the 35,000, it has such all these different arms of who can benefit from it.
If you go down there, he got his weed eaters, he's got side-by-sides, he's got lawnmower, he's got a lot of different small equipment. And we all know now, my dad's got a weed eater that's been around for 30 years. That's just not the norm anymore. I mean, the norm is they make things to break and break off, and you're gonna have to buy something for $200, and you're probably gonna have to get it fixed every 2 or 3 years. But that's kind of the model that the dealers are going at now. Steel's a little bit different, I agree, but you still have to service those things.
How long has he been in business? You may say, I'm sorry.
It's only about 6 to 8 months, I think, somebody can correct me. I asked his landlord, who I know, and I said, is he paying his, he said, it's right on the money every month, never misses, not missed one time. Ms. Sharon said the same thing, and, we've got, a veteran who has, kind of wanted to, I don't know him well, but when I've talked to him, he said, I just want to come back to this community, work in this community, be here, and that kind of thing, and so.
Was the fact of taking a chainsaw or a weed eater or whatever to a place to get it repaired, worked on, sharpened, all that stuff, we need that.
I mean, when we had Larry's small engine, it was always, you took something out there, you might not get it back for a month, and that was good, because, the business was just that got busy. I mean, he was out there working every day, but just couldn't keep up.
I took mine to Cochran's to get it worked on, and after 3 months, I went and got it. You know, checked on, and 3 months later, I said, guys, I gotta go somewhere else.
And I don't know Garrett personally at all, but I guess I kind of feel like I'd rather give back to a Grayson County graduate, a kid that's pulled himself up by his bootstraps and, you know, come back than, you know, someone that's just come in here from nowhere looking for money.
You make a lot. You make a,
Oh, Darren, go ahead, Darren.
I missed part of the conversation when y'all said where this place was at.
We just, oh, you're getting interest payment.
How to hit that red button?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
You still there, Darren?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, we had to get a spam call and cut off.
You know all this. Yeah, I just missed the part where we said where this business was located at.
It's in Independence.
Okay.
outside Cummins Auto, old Cummins Auto.
Yeah, I know where it's at. Okay. Yeah.
There's.
I agree with the fact that I like that he's asking for a loan and not a grant. And as a Grayson County resident, and come back and do some stuff, and there is a need for that service in the area.
Do we want to make this motion? Do we want to have him come in and speak, or are you his proxy to, that he'd ask you to
He
come
did.
and do this?
What I told him was, hey, I'll talk to the board and see if they have interest in this. If they do, I can work up the terms, some type of relief report in the same, I think if we're in the ballpark, I can work up the terms, present it to the board, you can come in and talk, and you can take the vote, or you can say, no, we don't want to do that, or we can modify it. I can go ahead and weigh in on this. So, it wasn't a huge number, it was a loan, which, started clicking to me, there was no ask at this point, and so, that's what I was doing.
Will the loan get him what he needs? I mean,
That's what I told him.
I think he needs to go through this process. I mean, it doesn't seem quite fair to have others go through this and not have him go through it too. I agree. I think there's interest from the EDA. It seems like in that and having him do that. The big risk there is the new business owner, and if he defaults on said loan for that amount of money, I don't know that it's worth trying to go get it back.
so I said we asked Steve to work with Garrett, come up with a loan package and bring it back to us next month. Cause that would be an emotion, I think, just directing.
Justin said something that I hadn't thought about, which was probably just need confirmation from Steel that they're allowed to do that for you and not from December. So I think that's reasonable.
Do you know anything on his timelines? Like, is he trying to
ready.
get this done?
Yeah,
Like,
He said, hey, it's something I like to do, but
That's a seasonal job too, so is Steel only offering training for so long? Or is it gonna be better for him to get his training in the winter to be ready to go for this future spring?
find out.
So we're good at directing Steve, just talk to him and see what his intentions are, and Steel, you gonna talk to Steve?
I will. And we'll get the process, as Jason said, we'll work through the process and we'll move this forward.
Okay. But tell him, we all ran the rest of the time.
definitely.
Okay, got it.
Alright. Okay, presentations, we have none, EDA time, member time, I have not heard of any. We have any public comments?
No, sir.
So, executive session, for motion going executive closed session pursuant to 2.2-3711A5, which is prospective business.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
We are in closed session.